This week, you are going to be learning about the DOM, which is the Document Object Model. Every page that you display on the web is part of the DOM. So it is something that you constantly interact with. You will be starting with the reading assignment. And so that is chapter 5 in the book. And if you were unable to obtain the book, I have the equivalent information in web resources. And while this looks like a very lengthy list, the readings are all pretty short, so it shouldn't be too bad. Then you're going to walk through the key concept lecture demo. And this is going to expand on the information in the readings. And so I like visuals. So this kind of shows you how the document object model fits into the browser object model. So it's a part of the larger browser object model. And then we kind of break it down and talk about the DOM itself, talk about some terminology, and then we get into, well, how do you find elements? How do you manipulate elements? How do you add content? How do you remove content? And that type of thing. You will notice that there are videos throughout the lecture demo. So you can watch the videos and they will walk through the examples with you, explain what the code is doing. You will also notice that I have little interactive things here for you to try. So by all means, click on the buttons. Also, any example that may be beneficial for you to see outside of the lecture demo, I do have a link to it. So you can kind of see how that works, on its own page by itself. Okay, so as you go through here, there's tons and tons of examples to kind of illustrate these different concepts and ideas, to illustrate how to do things. Okay? And so as you work through this, you will become pretty familiar with not only being able to find different elements on your page, but you will also learn how to modify those elements. So by the end of this, you will be ready for your programming assignment. And the programming assignment kind of begins with creating the folders that you need for your structure. And then we have several tasks. The first one, you are going to animate a unicycle. And there is a video that kind of walks you through what you need to do. You'll notice that we're using a set interval method that is part of the Windows object. And I do have a similar example. So you're going to download this Unicycle. It's a compressed file. It has lots of pictures, which is what you need to do this kind of animation. So you're going to download this and decompress it. And then you're going to be creating code that's very similar to the example. And the example obviously is not going to be a unicycle, but it is a push pin. And it animates to the right and it animates to the left, and you can stop the animation. So you're basically going to be doing the same thing with a unicycle. And the video explains what the code is doing so that you'll be able to create that code in this unicycle example. The next task is working with the collections that are part of the DOM. So these are built into all of the web pages. And here is an example. that is similar to what you're going to be creating. And the only thing that was in this page were the thumbnails and the links to the larger images. Everything else was generated using the DOM collections. And that is basically what you are going to be doing. You're going to be doing something almost identical to the example. And the video here walks you through that. Then your last task is going to be modifying a page. So you're going to create a page on pretty much anything you want. Okay, and you can add images to it, however you want to set it up. The only requirements that I have is that you're going to allow the user, the person viewing the page, to add, delete, and update a portion of the page. So they have to be able to do all three things. Okay. And then the user also needs to be able to change the styling. And you need to allow them to change two things. So, I mean, it could be the text color, it could be the background color, it could be the font size. You decide what styling you want to allow them to change. And there are lots of different ways that you can accomplish this task. In the lecture demo, there were a lot of examples showing you how to do these exact same things. And so I've got links to those example pages. Okay, and this video explains in a little bit more detail what you need to do. At the bottom here is your grading rubric, how you are going to be scored on the assignment. Okay, and hopefully you guys will have fun with this one. I think you will. When you are done with the assignment, after you've got it transferred to the web, you are going to come into the Dropbox and submit done so that I know it's ready for correcting. And then you're going to move on to a discussion exercise. And a lot of our discussion is going to focus on design because you guys are going to be doing some design work on your term project. So this particular discussion looks at how design impacts the communication of the site. So you're going to do a little research on effective communication and website design. Going to think about different ways a site can communicate, what should be communicated, and how much information should be communicated. And then you're going to summarize your research in a few paragraphs. Going to cite a couple of sources. And then I want you to look for a site that you feel communicates well and post a link to the site. And I did post some links to some sites you might want to check out. And then you're going to reply to at least 2 of your classmates' posts. Okay, so those are the requirements. And I'm going to go ahead and post an example for you to look at. So hold on a minute. So I created a little example for you guys to look at. I looked at several articles and kind of summarized their main points regarding clear communication on a website. And then I started looking at the award-winning sites, and they don't all communicate that well, but I found kind of an interesting one that I'm sharing with you because their little communication job was not easy because it's a nonprofit that represents 21 ski resorts. And I think they did a pretty good job of explaining what the purpose of the site was and letting you know that they sell passes to the different resorts. So it's like a package. So you can go to like 20 different resorts with a particular pass. And they also have a kind of a cool little interactive map where you can click on the mountains and find out about the resorts that they represent. So overall, it was a pretty cool site, and they did not have an easy task, and I thought they did it well. So this is my example, and I am excited to see what you guys come up with. So once you finish the discussion, that is the last thing that you need to do this week. So as you are working on your assignment, if you do run into any problems or if you have questions, please let me know. I did include a couple links down here for more information on the DOM. And for those of you that have the textbook, the reading assignment also has additional information if you would like to read more than the chapter in the book. So have a great week, and I look forward to seeing everything that you create and post.